Yeah, I'm going to do a quick video of the interior since there's so many pictures of the interior online, you know, all the before and afters and everything, and obviously the interior looks as new as it's going to look. Anything that's plastic was repainted with plastic paint. Anything that's vinyl was dyed with vinyl dye. I have the windshield blocked because I was getting so much glare from the sun, but at the end I'll remove the blanket and get a little bit better shot of the dash. And the dash, obviously, if you looked, hopefully you looked at the pictures, is a full cap from the zstore.com. It's got a little wrinkle in it there where it didn't fit as well as it should because of all the junk the previous owner had done trying to repair the existing dash. It took me forever to sand it down enough to get that cap to fit on there at all, but I mean, for the most part it looks great. It's just got the one little wrinkle in it. Carpet is brand new, molded carpet kit from the Z store. The carpet in the back is not part of the carpet kit. It was just a black throw rug that I cut to fit. The headliner is wanting to come down right here, which there's actually a little groove. It's where when I put it in, I didn't get it in far enough up under there before I glued it down. You know, it was kind of a one-time deal. I had all the glue on there and stuck it where I thought was in the middle, and I missed, so it's not tucked under right here like it should be. There's like a groove. You can see I can stick my fingers under there, and I'm thinking about just cutting a piece of hard plastic, you know, and painting it black that'll just fit in there and hold it up into that groove, because I'm not going to take the headliner back down. These are baggy. They always get kind of baggy, saggy after the years, and they've been dyed. You know, the whole interior, any of the vinyl that was that burnt orange color has been dyed with the vinyl dye because I hate that color and I wanted black interior, so that's what I did. The console is in good shape, but it does have one crack in it. I cracked it putting it back in right here next to the ashtray. And it's built up a little bit where I tried to use some plastic cement to glue it or whatever, and cracked it again when I was putting it back in after gluing it. So I kind of gave up on that, which if it really bothers you, you can buy the console still. You can get just about anything you want for the car at the Z store, or a few others, Black Dragon Automotive. There's some really cool performance stuff at Arizona Z Car. You know, of course, nowadays there's 4 or 5 different Z specialty shops on eBay. Datsun Parts LLC is a good guy that I've talked to before. That's where I bought the lightened flywheel from. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to try to keep this kind of short because the interior looks pretty much perfect. We'll touch on a couple other things right now because I remembered a couple things I forgot when I was talking about the body, and also, you know, I think I'm probably not going to come back and put one without the blanket. I think you can see good enough on the dash there. The moldings that I'm talking about, you know, around all the doors that are shot, you know, like all this stuff. I mean, it's toast. You get a lot of rattle noise and stuff, and you know, wind noise from that. It's just, I was waiting until I painted the car because that's the time to do it. And it's like 300 something bucks. All up in here, you know, I've put this piece of foam behind the screwed up painted molding that needs to be replaced. But basically, you know, all of this molding is just completely shot and needs to be replaced, and that make a huge difference on the quality of the sound and inside the car. Just cut down on all that wind noise and some of the rattling and all that. Although one thing I said I would mention here, and that I forgot yesterday on the body, which is not a big deal, but I'm just trying to cover everything. I don't even know. Let's see. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it, but it's just like the paint gun dripped right there, so there's a big drip. And it's not real bad, but you can feel dirt in the paint where the guy, he didn't paint it in a booth, he painted it in a bay at his mechanical shop, not a body shop. It's not horrible, but there is trash in the paint. Okay, I'm going to take a peek under the rear deck area where the spare tire goes, and obviously I don't have the original spare, the jack, or the little air canister it used to fill the spare. I don't have a spare at all. I do have the original wheels and hubcaps, but I've never had this stuff, and since I'm not trying to sell it or own it for that matter as a original car, I've never really worried about it. That's where I put the amps. But the entire area is almost good as new. I mean, it's the factory paint in here. There's no rust anywhere. Any of the stands, you know, the supports for this material here were removed, sandblasted, and repainted. You know, all of those. Stainless steel, any hardware, which you'll find this throughout the car pretty much. Anywhere that I pulled something out and tried to make it look brand new, I wasn't going to put the old nasty looking bolt back in, and I went and bought brand new stainless steel. Anywhere I replaced it, like up under here on this piece, you know, all new stainless steel hardware. You'll find it throughout the car, like the front grille, the front air dam, stuff like that. If any screw I replaced, it's stainless steel. I don't like rust, obviously. Up under here, I've got this dense foam that's sort of blocking off the front section of it, so it's like a chamber kind of, and that's just for the bass response, you know, on the speaker. So I tried to make this whole area, you know, a nice big speaker basically. I did have 2 amps at one point, so I've got another feed here. This feed actually is for a subwoofer amp, so in the back of the radio it's going into the sub output. So if you wanted to put a sub in it, put that amp back, you could. There actually is room, if you took this all back out, you actually could put the amps up in that front area and try to find, you know, the spare. But with a spare, you're going to have the original that's like a little mini donut, not only a mini donut but also deflated, so it was tiny where it fits down in there, and then it had a canister that you had to fill it up with air if you used it. And this is going to be my last video, but I thought about a couple of things that I should have mentioned. You know, in my ad I said I'd rather not sell it to you if you don't have a garage. You know, if you're planning on driving it in the rain or whatever. I mean, these cars are just so bad about rusting, and the main reason is up under the front cowl. You know, it's basically just a trough where your windshield wiper apparatus is, but there's drains in either side that drain down into the fenders, the inner fender wall at least, and those drains get clogged, and you know, this trough will just fill up with water until it finds a way out, which is going to be between the firewall and into the floor pan, and that's why the floor pans rust out. So, and I've never done that. I did remove the cowl and clean it up a little bit. There's some pitted rust and stuff in there. There's no rust through or anything like that, but you know, that's a known fix for these cars, that it needs to be done, is to get it off, clean those drains out really good, you know, just make sure that the thing will drain properly like it's supposed to, and then put a bead of silicone all around the, you know, the inner outside edge of that trough, so the only way out for the water is the drains, and the drains are working. And you know, that's part of what I would do before I painted the car. And since the car hasn't seen rain since 2010, you know, I haven't worried about it. I keep it in the garage, and I absolutely don't drive the car in the rain. You know, if you watch the videos, it's easy to tell. You know, it's a pretty hot little car, and you know, a lot of people probably think, well, why are you selling it? Replaced it with my 911, which, you know, honestly will run circles around the Z, but it should. You know, it's a $90,000 car compared to a $3,500 car. But anyway, I guess I'll end my diatribe with that. I just wanted to point out the reason I say keep it inside is these cars will rust to pieces on you, and I really don't want to see the car waste away. You know, they're getting few and far between and need to be preserved, so I want it to go to a good home. Thanks for looking, and good luck bidding it. One more quick thing. I know I mentioned it's not really part of the interior video here, but I mentioned in the engine video that I would come back and take the battery out and show that area. And this area is actually pretty clean for these cars. I know it's a big concern, and it should be in these because it likes to rust out in here. But what I've done, you can see the black around that. Any rust, there is some, you can see where it's pitted a little bit down here. So I'm just trying to get the light right here. Just trying to show where it is pitted a little bit, but I can't really get the light the way I want it. Sort of see it. It's pitted there a little bit along the seam, and a little bit right under there, a little bit on the thing itself, but not much. But anyway, I took like a wire wheel and a Dremel or a drill or both, and got any rust that was there back down to sort of the metal as best you can when something's rusted like that, and then treated it with the stuff that supposedly, you know, converts rust to a paintable primer, you know, that kind of stuff. And then I put a couple coats of truck bed liner on it, which of course is my coating of choice nowadays. And then one other thing real quick, when I popped the hood, I remembered I didn't show it in the body video. It's pitted. This is the passenger side, and it was pitted out pretty good there. And it stops, but from, you know, maybe halfway up, it was pitted out pretty good just on this edge, outside edge of the hood. And the guy just, I'm hoping that he at least, you know, took a wire wheel to it or something and got it back down as good as he could before he painted. But he just painted over it. You know, that should be taken back down to the metal and treated and bondoed or something just to look good, if nothing else. And then where I pointed out that it had been bondoed in the front of the hood, I mean, it hasn't been hit, you know, up here. There's, you know, it's not dented or anything. So it was just rust, you know, pitted out rust on the fronts of the hood, I think, where he did the bondo work. And also mentioned maybe in the actual nose, but I mean, it hasn't been hit or anything where they had some bondo up front. Basically, that's all I wanted to point out there. And I think this really is the last video this time. And thanks for looking.